again, we're talking about the, tips to block out negativity. And I know you had a lot of really powerful information in your book. I would really like you to cover some key topics on that, especially like how to overcome the difficult. I know we've talked on my program, Message of Hope, stories from struggle to success. So I know a bit about your story. But we didn't really touch about how did you start to really realize it was a problem, an issue, and then what'd you do to start building, I guess, the boundaries? Would you say it's boundaries?
Well, I think let's start with the fact that thoughts create action. And so when you are surrounding yourself with negative thoughts or whatever you're allowing your mind to dwell on, that is going to actually fuel and fertilize. And so if you are planting seeds of negativity, you're going to grow negative thoughts. If you're planting seeds of positivity and hope and growth, then you're going to be nurturing those thoughts that are going to be that are going to be positive. And so you really have to think about, are you dwelling in the past? Are you dwelling in emotional baggage of the past? Are you dwelling in situations that you found? Is there something there that is leaving you stuck and you're not really able to fully understand or apply or find your purpose? So fueling or finding the energy within you is first step is to see what are you seeding your thoughts with. What are the thoughts that are you're building with, and what's been trapped? What are the emotions that are trapped? What are the thoughts that are trapped that are not growing you any longer? Have you got to just sit down and reassess your goals? It's all very, very interconnected, just as we are interconnected with other people in our lives. And there are some people in our lives, Amina, that we cannot get rid of. These are
Yeah.
people that perhaps are family, right? And that's going to be very, very crucial in how are you able to get through negativity when you can't get rid of the negative people all the time,
Yes.
right?
Or if it's a divorce and you share custody. So that's a
Right.
huge
And
one.
so, yeah, absolutely. That situation really causes rise for the, your best behavior. The prime, I think, idea is to think that, yes, you have come together for a period of time to create children. And in the process of creating children, the children require both parents, that they require a father figure, they require a mother figure, or they require stability in their life in whichever, whether it's two moms, two dads, whatever it is, or a single mom, they require that stability. And so you not getting along with the partner that you decided to have this child with, the child is not really should never be involved in that, right? So you've got to be the adult in that situation. Both partners have to be the adult and put aside your personal vengeances against each other to think, what is the best for this child that we've got together? What is the best for this, individual that is making connections and gaining understanding of their world through us as adults? And so that's the first step, is to how to create a positive situation from a negative surrounding. And that's very important. It means you have to think beyond yourself,
Yeah,
you know.
so I guess in any situation, if it's a parent with a child, or the opposite, a parent that's caring for a child, even a partnership between a spouse or a business partner, where would you say that the key lies? Like, you can't really force it onto the other person to be an adult and take responsibility, but how can you exude that? Um, to be the good role model for not only yourself, but also the people that are involved in this situation. Whereas it was a divorce, or it was maybe as a business partnership where you have employees and you still share a business. Possibly, I know plenty of business people out there that are in business with people that they probably don't really want to be in business with, but they still have to deal with them and keep that culture going, even though there's conflict.
Yeah, negativity sort of stifles you. it tends to box you, and it tends to drain that energy in you. So your choice really is to determine very quickly what you're going to allow to filter into your space. And so making sure that you are uplifted in everything that you're doing. So you don't have to. I always say this is, yes, you stopped in front of my yard. No, you can take your dump truck and dump it somewhere else because that garbage doesn't belong on my yard. Right, and that's what it is that you have to you are in control of how you react to situations around you. So the situations may continue. The people who are negative will continue to be negative. Remember, it comes from a lack or an issue with them and not necessarily an issue with you. The only thing that you can really control is how you react to it. And so you can choose to distance yourself from that situation. You can choose to cut out toxicity in your life by removing yourself from that, or you can take a look at what it is that triggers you in that reaction so that you're able to react in a different way. And that means that you have to break that cycle of trigger. And so when you look at the things in your life that are holding you back, whether it is a situation, whether it's people, whether it's a timing of what's being said to you and it's not in alignment with what you want, you have to source your inner vibrational energy, and you have to accept that you are unwilling to accept what they're bringing to your table. So when, it's a state of mind. It's not, as I say in my book, it's happiness or is being positive is not like clothing that you put on in the morning. It's a state of mind, and you need to find that within yourself. It's that inner balance that you have within you. It's not about all those external things like wealth, like your looks, like the clothes that you put, your designer brands, the cars that you, it's not held up. Happiness and mindfulness is not in all of that. It's about your inner balance, and you need to take a good stock of that, because that's going to determine your resilience and your grit to be able to weed out those negative people in your life. Now, you can imagine that there's not a single person, I think, Amina, that gets through a day without some sort of negative situation arising, whether it's that you didn't meet a deadline, someone had an awful day and they decided to vent it to you. Even listening to someone who's got a negative situation draws the energy out of you as well. So what happens, for example, Amina, when you're in either a family situation or in a work environment and someone's arguing with you? What does it leave you feeling?
Yeah, it makes
It,
you feel like well, and when I think about it, yeah, if somebody were to be negative to me just randomly like that, then I would question where is it coming from? Like, what caused this, and what did I do to cause this? And then yes, and then you're carrying it with you the whole day at least, and maybe even into the future, because you're going back and trying to like analyze it. So basically, it
yeah,
multiplies. So
yeah.
yeah.
I found it very much so. First off, it may be a small thing, but those small things lead to more small things, lead to more small things, and very soon you have a mental culture of negativity. And so, filling your mind. So I wake up in the morning with positive affirmations, and it's something that's very important. I make sure that I ground myself in who I am and what I want to do, my purpose. And then and starting off the day with gratitude, in being thankful for every single little thing that happens, grounds me in blessings. And when you are grateful, then you don't have space for the ungrateful, and that's very important. And also, I think one of the other things is to just constantly think of positive things. I try to avoid news. Although I am an anchor, I'm a mainstream radio host, and we're a news channel. I do have to read the news, and right now the news is very, very negative. But what I found in the early days of COVID really was I was surrounding myself with the news. I was trying to keep on top of what was happening around the world. It was so new, whatever. after 5 days or 7 days of listening to the news every day constantly, I was finding my mental state to be very, very low. My energy was low. I was, the imagery in my head was negative. The words that echoed after I turned things off were gloom and doom. And what I ended up doing was I stopped it all. So remember that the real estate space in your head is prime location. And because you have prime real estate in your head, then you need to make sure that you're giving it to the highest bidder. The highest bidder are those people that grow your mind and grow your thoughts, and your spirits are in alignment,
Yeah,
right?
I like how
And
you said that your mind is prime real estate. So you have to treat it that way. You can't just fill it with junk. You just can't fill it with just random stuff that people throw in your yard, right? If they leave stuff there, you just can't accept it. You just like, no, that doesn't belong here. It's not of this
yeah, it's like
quality. So
exactly right. Have you ever
I'm
gone
picturing it in
past
my
one of those?
mind and going, yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly right.
So have you ever gone past one of those donation sites where you have Goodwill, or
Uh-huh.
and people, they have not, sometimes people have not generously donated something. They've gotten rid of something they don't want, and it's to them garbage, and they're hoping someone will find use, right? Well, you have people in your life that are trying to get rid of stuff that they're dealing with and dump it on you, not because they are generously sharing it with you, but because they don't want to deal with it and they want you to deal with it. Well, you don't have to. So learning to be able to say no to the negativity in your life is so, so important. And you don't have space. Um, you find that your days, I have found my days are very, very full right now. And I make sure that they're full. I don't give space in my mind, even when I've taking time for myself. I've scheduled that time for myself. I've scheduled it so even if I'm just sitting and reading or watching, catching up on a film or catching up with friends, I know that that's what I'm doing. And so I put aside everything else. Putting aside, negativity stems from a lot of things. Our attachment to social media, our attachment to our cell phones, our attachment to digital devices, our attachment to certain habits that are not growing. So if you're doing something that you're finding you're spending too much time on and it's taking away from the positive growth in your life, remove that negativity. Um, everything in There's nothing you should do in excess. Even drinking water, you can drink too much water that it's diluted the minerals in your body to the point that it's toxic, right? You've overloaded it. So everything within moderation is very good. And so negativity, we can't get rid of it, so do it with moderation.
Do with moderation. Well, it also will build your strength after a while. If you think about it too, when you have this negative situation, it really makes you stronger in a way, because you can look at it and say, well, why am I reacting to it like this, and what do I need to do to better myself so I don't have these feelings and I don't just lash out. There's a lot of
Yeah,
people that they're faced with these situations not on a daily basis, because maybe their job or occupation or their life is pretty much the same, right? They're in a comfort zone. They have a normal day-to-day routine that very much doesn't change. But so when they are situated, something arises in their life that does put like a damper on their mood or their health or things like that, where it becomes a negative force that they are not accustomed to. It's hard to find those habits or form those habits because they're not used to it. Whereas a high stress job in sales or marketing, or a CEO, or maybe even like political standing, where they deal with high stress every day, so it's something they're already adapted to. We could see even like lawyers and doctors and things like that, because they are constantly bombarded with negativity and stress and things of that matter, where they have that training. And
yeah.
how do you think about that? Like, what was I going to ask you? So in that type of situation, what do you recommend people, I guess, to heal through that if they are not used to maybe that high stress? during,
Yeah.
in life?
So there's good stress and there's bad stress. So there's the stress that you need in order to fuel you, to keep you on the edge. So I have stress. We all have stress in our life. I do have good stress, and that stress for me helps me to be edgy to accomplish the things that I need to do. So that's a good stress. The stress that is going to hold you back is the stress that overwhelms you, is the stress that cripples you, is the stress that you find yourself floundering, either stagnating because you don't know how to move to the next level, either because do you have a rock in the pit of your stomach because the next day you got to go into work and you've got to deal with a situation that you don't want to have to deal with, and that's been percolating from Friday when you left the office, and so that's a negative stress. And so the positive way to be able to react to that or to deal with that is to write down what is really your outcome that you're expecting to happen after that situation happened on Friday. So do you need to have a follow-up conversation? Do you need to clear the air? Or is it something that you did that you were called up for? And often that happens when you're working for someone, and something you've done may have triggered a reaction from someone else. I always look at it like this. If you're with someone, you have a partner, a spouse, or someone significant in your life that you are in a relationship with, how do they deal with you when they're angry? Not at you, not angry with you, but rather angry about something. How they are able to distance their emotion about that situation in relation to what they're relating to you is going to tell you how they respect you, right? If they take a situation that happened at work, or they stub their toe, or they hurt themselves, or someone, called them something, or whatever it is that set them off, they had a bad day, their project didn't go well, whatever it is, and they come home and they take it out on the kids, or they take it out on the partner, and then that's a negative situation, and that's a toxic situation. But we all have negativity happen to us, and this is what I'm trying to stress, is that a negative situation should not determine your reaction to that situation. Negativity can fuel positivity if you're able to channel that negative energy into a positive growth state.
So now that you mentioned that, I totally agree with what you said. Definitely. Would you say personal development would really be the key to developing those new habits? So maybe like goal setting, finding, like writing down your purpose, um, maybe even
Chapter one of my book. Yeah,
following up on more affirmations, daily.
yeah,
You said you
absolutely.
do one every morning. Is that correct? Is that what you just said?
I
You
do
do an
I do them
affirmation every morning?
I
Okay.
do them constantly, Amina. I find that affirmations and blessings and gratitude
Oh, gratitude.
really are cyclical for me. That the more you put out, the more you get back. The more you put out, the more you get. I'm in a season of harvest right now in terms of all the things that I had put out into the universe that is now coming into fruition, and it's you decide whether you want a cycle of positivity or you want a cycle of toxicity, and so you choose your cycle by the thoughts that you give growth and action to. And so that's one thing. As for personal development, I think we should be constantly learners. The only way that you can really grow yourself is if you're growing in through uncomfortable. And I say this all the time, is in order to truly grow your mind, you need to break from where you think you're comfortable, because when you're comfortable, you're actually stagnating or going backwards. In order to really grow your mind, you have to constantly become uncomfortable to become comfortable. And so that's pushing yourself. Personal development, I think that whether it's your personal brand or whether it is your company brand, if you do not know who you are as a person, you do not vibrate with your own sense of self and who you are, you don't know how you react to things, you don't know what your triggers are, and you don't know where you want to go in life, no matter how great a business you are, it's going to be wishy-washy. You're going to come across as fake. And I see so many people who are fake because they say one thing, they write one thing, and they act another thing. And it's so
I
easy
have
when
to
you've been
agree
in
with
the
that one because there's a couple of people I ran into recently that is just like, especially during this time, the
yeah,
situations we're dealing with in life. There's a couple of people that I follow and I've talked to, and yeah, I've ran into a couple situations where it's like, I want to do this, I want to help out this, and then it was just like, well, it seems like you're just doing it for the wrong reasons. I don't know if it's intentional or it just comes out that way, but it really is just like, I really appreciate, what you're doing and stuff, and I'll support you in, upcoming things. But yeah, I'm not really feeling it. Have you come to those situations where you don't really something doesn't feel right? So when you have, for
That's
me,
yeah.
if you have that intuition, then there's something there.
Yeah. So you
So
need to invest in yourself. I say this in my book. You need to invest in yourself. You need to surround yourself with the people that vibe with you in that way that's energizing. So if you've got energy vampires in your life, if you've got people that are showing up in your life, whether it be coworkers, family members, even close friends, sometimes, in fact, I had to do it when I went through my divorce. I actually cut out everyone from my life, including my closest family and friends. Except for a very few of them who had been standing by me unflinchingly. The rest of them were there as energy vampires. And even if they didn't say anything, they were like the bullies in the playground. So you have one bully, and then you have a whole bunch of people standing by, either egging them on or watching. If you are a silent watcher in a situation that's toxic, then you are equivalent to a bully. There's no question in my books about that, right? So if you know something is wrong and you don't say anything about it and you don't speak up for the person who is being victimized, then you are equally at fault. And so I'm very much, and this is where my tagline for my company is being the voice for the voiceless, is that sometimes, and you know this from being in a situation where you found it difficult, is that sometimes when you're in it, you just need someone to be your speakerphone. You need them to be your trumpet. You need to be there. They need to be, because you're not. You're emotionally distraught. You're mentally distraught. You're trying to juggle a whole bunch of things. You're finding yourself in a situation that you weren't expecting to be in, and you're really looking for the people that are going to support you. And that's when these people come out of the woodwork. They pretend to be your friends. They pretend to be supportive. And all they're really doing is seeing, how bad is your situation? Ah, it's that bad? Ah, mine's not as bad then. Haha. So they're looking to use your situation as a gauge of their own situation. So don't be that type of person. And if you have those types of individuals, no matter how painful it is to cut them out, I'm telling you the best thing to do, cut them out from your life. A surgical cut, Amena. Just cut them out, because you're going to find that when you cut out the negativity, you're going to have room for positivity.
yeah,
You're going
totally
to
agree.
have space.
Yeah,
You're
totally.
going to have space to find, the universe will bring into your life the positive people. The universe will bring into your life the right type of situations, and that leads into a cycle of positive and cuts that cycle of toxicity.
And I gotta say here that, yeah, I know this from personal experience, and I know Annie, you do too. So you've got two people here, guys, that knows what we're talking about on this subject. Um, from our own lives, that we had to cut people off willingly and unwillingly. People that, yeah, there are people, family members and friends that do care, but sometimes it is best to cut them out because they see some from a personal experience. There's a couple of situations that it was more like, so what's happening now, what's happening next, and they're always looking for the negative. Even though I would tell them, all the positive, they would always like pinpoint the bad stuff that happened like a year and a half ago, and the stuff that I was dealing with then, and never really
Yeah,
seeing the growth at all.
and
All they
sometimes,
saw
yeah.
was the negative.
Yeah, and sometimes we do need that as well. So I think when anyone's going through a situation like that, there is a personal space, there is room for growth, and there is also a need to heal. And so allowing that person to heal is so, so important. Someone who's gone through a traumatic experience requires that space where they can actually share. And I think more importantly for me was making sure that people are surrounding themselves with the people who genuinely care, right? Who genuinely are there and will hold your hand if you need to cry, who will give you that hug, and who will be that listener, friend, without judgment.
Oh yeah.
Because you have to go through those periods of growth as a person once you leave it. So trying to remove yourself from a toxic situation is another one, but then don't find yourself immersing yourself again in a similar toxic situation. And I'm talking about narcissistic type personalities. And so when you are, and I'm an empath, I tend to gravitate, or people who tend to gravitate towards my light are the people who are more needy. And I see in me my sort of Florence Nightingale comes out, and I feel like I want to heal them. That is the worst thing to do, because you really realize that you can't heal someone, they have to heal themselves. And I've had to really curb my natural instinct to be that nurturer, to be the one to fix things, to be the one to make everything okay. I was the one that didn't like to topple the rowboat. I wanted everything to be smooth. I don't like conflict. I would smooth things over. When someone's upset with me, even if it's not my fault, I will be the first one to say sorry. But you know what? When you start to realize these are some of the triggers, this is what you're attracting, you stop it. And so you are unconditionally accepting of yourself, even when you have to be hard and say no.
Totally agree. Yes, I totally agree. So, yeah, I relate because I too I found out as an empath as well. Didn't know the terminology, narcissistic behavior, but yes, I've had that, and I found out, of course, the terminology between an empath and why relationships between an empath and a narcissist work so well. So, even though it is a
Yeah.
very toxic relationship, it's because you can't change people. And at the end of the day, once you realize that, you really have to learn how to train your empathic nature to question yourself and say, am I falling it back into this cycle? And I have to put a stop to it no matter what.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
training.
So I just want to do a shout out right now. Afia, thank you so much for joining us. Yes, it is absolutely pertinent to maintain positivity, and that's going to really affect how you start your day and how you end your day, as if you have a mindset of positivity. I also want to say thank you to Rebecca Plautz. Cutting the energy vampires. Yes, absolutely. So important to cut those energy vampires and make sure that you find your tribe, your clan, your group that's going to be vibing on the same energetic vibration as you are, so that you are fueling each other. Because as empaths, Amina and myself, both being one, and I know many friends of mine who are empaths, we're constantly giving. But when you give, think of it like a bonfire. That if you've got a bonfire, you start your day, or you start your thoughts with, and every time you're giving, you're taking out a stick of fire because you're fueling someone else's fire. If you're not replenishing your bonfire, very soon you're going to have a smoldering pile of ashes, and that's going to be your soul. So you got to fuel your soul in order to be able to feed your other people, your energy to other people as well. Fuel your energy to be able to do that.
Also, yeah, I'd like to add in a little bit there too. When you are giving so much, you do deplete, but you also deplete your own energy on who you are in general, because, if we keep giving, sometimes we lose sight of who we are,
Yeah.
and our own goals and passions and things. And it is hard for an empath, because especially one that does want to give and feel that they feel good giving more than they do receiving. However, we need to remember also that we do have to take time to nurture ourselves, like you said, and really care for ourselves to be the best person for others as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great. I think that we've touched upon the points of toxicity and how
Mhm.
to take a look at the energy vampires that are in your life, the people that are draining you, and how and who you need to surround, how you need to think and who you need to surround yourself with, so that you're vibing and energizing your passion and your purpose, and redefining who and where you want to go in life. Because at the end of the day, if things are not growing you but rather depressing you, are you feeling happy or unfulfilled? Is there something that's draining you? The only person that can make those changes is you, and you need to be able to understand how you react to situations, and what are the situations that are triggering certain behaviors within you, and what you need to focus on, so that you can change that negativity into a positivity.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Annie, can you pull out a quote from your book, and we can chat about that a little bit? And I think that we pretty much covered a good portion of the topics today. I don't think there's anything else that we didn't touch on this topic. I think we covered it pretty well. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things that I say, one of the pro tips that I have is get ready, get started, go. And one of the quotes that I say is that I have a hawk's eye vision when it comes to building my own success and that of my brand. What's my motto? Be focused. And really, it is your time to succeed right now. There is no better time than right now, Amina, in terms of taking charge of your life, being the GPS of your life, being able to navigate all of the roads and the paths with a very conscious and purposeful way of doing it. Rather than allowing yourself to meander, take purpose and focus and get onto that path that you want to do and GPS your life.
Love that. Love that. Annie, before we let you go, can you actually say the name of your book and a little bit about what it's about? And I know
Sure.
like I said at the beginning, we do have your links up under day one. I'll put it on today's comments as well to go with this video so you guys can check it out. It's available only in the United States and Canada, or is it available
Nope.
worldwide too?
Available worldwide.
Okay.
Go on. It's still on sale, I believe. I don't think the publishers changed it yet. It's how to be your badass self using a guide to using your inner energy for brand success. And it really touches upon some of the points that I mentioned today, but there's a lot more in there. It's taking the you and your personal brand and who you are to the external, which is your company brand, and all the steps between the you and the brand of you, and the entire process of that. But it talks it through. I guess you could say personal stories, and I think that that is one of the most important things, is to be able to share your work, but do it through stories. And so I'm going to talk about one story. I'm going to read a little excerpt from it.
Okay.
We've all had a moment in time when we felt like a complete failure. Well, whatever we had tried to accomplish had blown up in our faces. The feelings related to failure are horrible. It can have a terrible impact on our self-talk and so much more. And so it explores, and that is Making Failures Your Success, chapter 6, and that's just an intro into it. But it really talks about branding colors, wearing your colors, why your smile is your business card, and why it's so important, how photography needs to be utilized for your brand success, alignment of your logo with your messaging, with your mission vision, aligning so many other components to your branding message, and how to be able to build your brand using your inner energy, and your inner energy and how to harness that is really what I talk upon and touch upon. So the book is available all over Europe, India, Japan, New Zealand, like everywhere. It's so check your Amazon. It's there. It actually, Amina, was Amazon's hottest new release for the last 15 days. And so it had a long shelf life there on that
Yeah,
hottest new
good.
release as number one, which is really
Okay,
good.
congratulations.
Um, yeah, and if you're here in Toronto, there is a workshop that's happening on Friday. If you're in Ontario, reach out to me. If you see this Facebook Live, it's called Energy Branding. It's going to happen on a yurt retreat, with an entire vegetarian lunch and a beautiful location, with some sound healing as well as some meditation and Qigong, a lot of different things happening, but really talking about energy branding, and how to be able to magnetize your brand is what I'm going to be talking about.
Okay, so is that a private retreat? Like, that's not with your book. That's something separate, right? Is that correct? Just wanted.
Well, it's based on the principles from my book. It
Okay.
is a retreat that it's an event that I'm putting together,
Okay.
and that's happening. It's on Friday, and so details are on my Facebook page. If people are interested, they can send me a private message, and I will be happy to send the information. Or it's on Eventbrite, which is a portal where they can get the tickets as well. But yes, there's constantly stuff, as I do different things on different platforms. There's always information on my feed. And I mean, if there's someone in your network who has a great story and would like to share that, ask them to reach out to me because I am a radio host with a mainstream radio station. And so I would be happy. I love to share stories and talk to individuals about the passion that they have and how they've been building their brand and marketing through what it is that they're doing.
Okay, so a little bit similar to what I do on the Message of Hope. Well, sounds a little bit similar. So yeah, definitely. Well, anybody that's listening got the message too. So we've got it out there. But that's amazing. So you've got a retreat. Your book is doing great, and so everybody knows it is available worldwide, not just in the United States and in Canada. So you can pick that book up now because it's available now.
There's
So
one
thank
more.
yeah.
There's one more thing, and keep track on my page because October, I believe October 27th is going to be the release of the film on my life, and there will be an opportunity for people to actually tune in from anywhere in the world. It's going to be a world premiere, and tickets will be available soon, and I'll have that posted out very, very soon so that people can
Yeah.
actually tune into Fear. Fear is face everything and rise.
Now, is that based on the book? I know we talked about this a little bit, but I don't remember if we
Based on
said.
my life.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay. So
Yeah.
that your book covers more like the business aspect and everything, and then the film is more about your life. So that is October the 27th. We're looking
Yeah,
for
I
the
believe
premiere.
that's a date. That's a drop date. I will have some information and I will send it across to you, Amina, so you can put it out to your network in case there's anyone who's interested. But yes, there are some trailers on my YouTube channel. If you go to Annie J. Koshy Media Consultant, my YouTube channel is there, and there are a couple of trailers there with regard to Fear. And it's really a movie of empowerment. It's not an immigrant story, although I am an immigrant here to Canada. My parents migrated in the 70s. It's more with regard to how you're able to overcome. And it could be a message of someone, anyone, female, male, young, old, who has been held back by whatever it is that's holding them back and how to break through to be able to live to the fullest potential that they can.
Awesome. That sounds, yeah, it looks amazing from what I did see. So definitely, guys, you have some amazing stuff you can go check out from Annie there. Annie, thank you again for coming on and giving us your tips on really fighting back negativity and how to overcome that and build the strength within to do that. I totally appreciate you, and it's good talking again. You have a lovely
Thank you.
evening. Thank you guys all for tuning in live, and I'll see you again at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care and have a wonderful day until then.